Today I want to show you a really simple way that you can get some really creative shots if you're filming yourself with a drone while you're also doing an activity. It's not active track, it's something else. Now, active track is a great feature and I use it a lot, especially when I'm doing things out in the wilderness like this, where I'm hiking, walking through a place, and you want to get shots. I want to get shots of myself in the location I'm in doing something that I'm doing. But there are times when I want to get more creative shots. And the problem with active track is that your subject always has to be in the field of view. Now, if you take these examples here, active track, it's very cool. You can get some great shots from the side. You can get some great shots from behind or in front. You can do really cool point of interest mode like this here, and you can get some really great shots. But there's a lot of times where I want to be moving into a scene and have the drone moving into a scene at a different speed. Or there's a lot of times where I want to actually be behind something and have the drone reveal off of a hilltop or around a mountainside or something like that. And you can't do that with active track because it has to have the subject in view. Another problem with active track is that you can't film in the full resolution that the Mavic 3 is capable of, because active track takes up a fair amount of processing power. So you have to drop down to DCI 4K or UHD 4K. And in the case of if you're using the Mavic Cine, you also can't film in ProRes. But this little trick does let you film in ProRes or at the full 5.1K. As I said, you can't film in full 5.13K. So if I try and highlight myself, it says unable to use focus track because of the current recording format. Now, if I drop to 4K, but I'm in ProRes, if I try and highlight myself, it's the same problem because it does not work in ProRes. So to do any sort of active tracking, we have to be in 4K or DCI 4K, Cinema 4K, and in H.264, H.265. So now if I select myself, there we go. Now I'm active tracking, and we could set up for a POI and record the POI. Or I could run around and it would active track me as I walk around here, which maybe we'll do a little bit of real quick. Now, I've gotten pretty good at being able to walk or hike or ski while also controlling the drone and filming myself, but it does get pretty hard, and it definitely always looks like I'm holding a controller or I'm concentrating on both things, because it's hard to not be watching the screen, not be watching the drone while I'm flying, and to try and get shots that look somewhat natural of me working through when I'm not using active track. But let's say I wanted to come up and reveal off of this hill as I'm walking down this pathway. Well, the easy way to do that is use waypoints. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then consider subscribing. I do lots of tips and tricks like this, and I do lots of tests and review of filmmaking equipment here in Alaska. So to get into waypoint mode, you tap waypoints there. It's really simple. You just hit the plus sign, and that sets your first waypoint. Now you move to the next waypoint that you want to do. So let's say I want to come up over here, right there. You can set a waypoint there. And then let's say I just want to keep going and maybe overfly myself, go over the top of us while also panning up. So we'll go like that. And we'll set our next waypoint. So now that we've set our waypoints, basically you can set up for different ways that you want to do it, but I'm going to do just a very simple speed. I like to lower the speed down a little bit, like around 3 to 2.5. If you're walking, 2.5 miles an hour is a great speed. Yeah, and then if you're, I'm gonna set this to hover because I like it to just stop wherever it goes. And then basically you hit go. I'm gonna start recording now so I don't forget while I'm talking to you. But then the drone goes to that first waypoint and then follows pretty much exactly the flight path that you set. This is a great way to be able to show stuff and reveal off of things. And I've used this a bunch lately because it allows me to walk through a scene while the drone is also moving through a scene in a way that maybe it wasn't doing before. So there, we're gonna start the recording right there. And now you see the drone is coming up over the hill, revealing us as we're talking, all automatically. I don't have to do anything but just hold on to the remote controller because I don't want to set it in the snow here. And then the drone is gonna fly forward over us in a second here and then pan up to reveal the mountains behind us in this very spectacular location that I get to film in today, which is amazing. Another really cool thing about waypoints is you can save them so you have repeatable motions, which means you can do them in other kinds of lighting where maybe active track isn't going to work because it's too dark. Waypoints are a really powerful feature that allow you to get some very cool, very creative shots. But let's say we wanted to do it a little bit differently. Or let's say maybe, as I'm walking out to this point here, out on the cliff edge, I want the drone to fly up and over, looking down, revealing all that space down behind me here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to set up some waypoints, and then we're just going to walk through the scene exactly like we planned. First waypoint will be right there. That'll be the second waypoint. And once the waypoints are hit or programmed in, you just hit go, and then you get something like this. I'll show you one more example here, and this is one of my favorites, is just coming up and over something as you're walking into a scene, because it's a great way to reveal information to your audience. Now you're going to want to watch this video here next to see 7 great shots that you're going to want to use for any time you use drones to film any sort of video. I'll see you over there as always. If you have questions, ask me in the comments below or join my live stream Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers.